Hello, pre-algebra students. This is section 1.2, variables and expressions. As always, please put your name and date on your paper so that you can keep your notes organized. And our topic today is variables and expressions. Our learning objectives are to translate verbal phrases into algebraic expressions and to evaluate expressions. Let's fill in our guided notes. Algebra is a branch of mathematics that uses symbols. A variable is often used in algebra. A variable is a letter or symbol used to represent an unknown value. And then we have some examples down here that say the letter X is often used as a variable. 5m means 5 times m. AB means A times B. And y over 3 means y divided by 3. An expression like 5m plus 6 is an algebraic expression because it contains at least one variable and at least one mathematical operation. Define a variable means to choose a variable and a quantity for the variable to represent in the algebraic expression. For example, we have words that describe a situation and that you're only supposed to use the most important words. We have a variable, so you'll define a variable by choosing a variable to represent the unknown quantity. And you'll turn it into an expression, so translate your verbal model into an algebraic expression. And that's what we will be doing today. But first, let's take a moment as a class to discuss what we might put in our Cornell notes on the left-hand side. What might you want to write on the left-hand side to remember what all of those definitions that we just talked about right now? Let's do our first example. Example 1 says, translate phrases into algebraic expressions. 1a says 2 miles less than the athlete ran. So those are the words. We need to define a variable. So here we'll say that this was our words. Now we're going to do our variable. And 2 miles less than the athlete ran. So we're going to be talking about miles, so I'm going to use the variable m, and that is going to represent what the athlete actually ran. So m represents the miles the athlete ran. And sometimes I think defining the variable is the hardest part. Maybe I should have put that in a different color. Now we're going to write our expression. Maybe I'll just highlight it. So the words are this, and the variable is this part and what it represents. So we just defined the variable. And the last part is to write our expression. And if I were to do this in our chart up here, we have words I did in green, variable I did in red, and expression I'll do in blue. So my expression is going to be 2 miles less than the athlete ran Less than usually means I'm going to use an operation of subtraction. I'm not going to use the less than symbol. Maybe you've seen that as like an alligator mouth, because I'm not writing an inequality. It asks me to write an expression. Okay, so no inequality symbols. Less than in this case means subtract. So we have the miles that the athlete ran, and we're going to subtract 2 from that to show the expression as an algebraic expression m minus 2 to represent the words 2 miles less than the athlete ran. Okay, so if you have any questions, we're going to do 1B together as a class, and you can ask your questions then. For this next part of our learning, we are going to talk about evaluating algebraic expressions. To evaluate an algebraic expression, replace the variables with known values and then use the order of operations, which we talked about in our last class. When you replace a variable with a value, you are using the substitution property of equality. Get ready to turn your page. If I need to pause the video, I will, for you to catch up before we turn the page. For examples 2 and 3, I'm going to do 2A in the video and also 3B in the video, and the other 3 we're going to do as a class. All right, it says evaluate 6 minus E plus F if E equals 3 and F equals 9. I like my colors for this. E is going to be replaced with the 3, and F is going to be replaced with 9. So we'll plug in, and I like to use parentheses when I put a number in. So I'm just writing the expression, but instead of E and F, I put parentheses. And now in E, where E was, I'll put 3, and where F was, I will put 9. Right, I'm just plugging them in, and I like the parentheses as placeholders so I do not forget to put in what numbers I need. Now the order of operations, in this case, we just have subtraction and addition, so I can do those simply in order. Remember how I said to show each step, 6 minus 3. Then I bring down plus 9. And I know you can do this in your head, but just for learning purposes, I want to see your steps, and that becomes 12. I'm going to box my answer. Okay, 3B. In 3B, it says evaluate each expression if A equals 4, B equals, let me change my colors. B equals 8, and C equals 12. Okay, so in this case, I have an A and I have a B. So I'm just going to use those numbers. For A, I put parentheses. For B, I put parentheses, and then I put my fraction bar, 16. In A, what am I going to plug in? Yeah, 4. In B, I'm going to plug in, 8. 4 times 8 is 32. I'm doing that first because it is multiplication and it is on top of the fraction bar. So I have to do that grouping first. The fraction bar groups the 4 and 8 together. So 32 over 16. Remember, a fraction also means divide, so that equals 2. And I'm going to box my answer. And here I will pause so that we can do 2B, 3A, and 3C. as a class. Okay, example 4. Use expressions to solve problems. And this is about sales. At a garage sale, Georgia found some used DVDs and CDs that she wanted to buy. Each DVD was marked at $5 and each CD was marked at $3. Write an expression to find the total cost to buy some DVDs and CDs. Then find the cost of buying 4 DVDs and 7 CDs. I feel like we could write this problem to be more appropriate for this day and age. Because who buys DVDs and CDs anymore? But I do know people who buy tapes to put into VCRs. So I guess they still do exist, but they're becoming antiques. Okay, we need to define some variables. So we'll say that D is a DVD and C is a CD. Then we know that how much are DVDs? DVDs are $5 each, and the CDs are $3 each. So I'm going to write them next to each other because we learned that when we put a number next to a variable, then that means multiply. And then we have 3C. So that is an expression to find the total cost. Then we want to figure out how much it would cost for 4 DVDs and 7 CDs. So this, I'm going to use the same colors. The C was orange and the D was red. And for the DVDs, we're talking about buying 4 and we're talking about buying 7 CDs. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this expression with parentheses where the variables are. And parentheses mean that we can plug in numbers. So I'm going to plug in 4 and 7. Then I'm going to use order of operations. I am going to combine both of the multiplying together in one step. 20, 21. Add them together and we get $41. And we're going to box it. The dollars are our units, and remember we always want to write our units. Is there anything that you want to write on the left side of your Cornell notes to help you remember any of this? And we're going to take a couple minutes to write our summary and to put our homework into our agendas. This is also on Canvas in our modules. Alrighty. Nice work today, everybody.